Coming up on This Week, Next Week, trainer Bjorn Baker achieved a career pinnacle on Saturday, winning the Doncaster with Stefi Magnetica in emotional scenes. We'll recount the achievement as well as look at more exciting Baker runners for the remainder of the autumn.
Hello, I'm Ray Thomas and welcome to This Week, Next Week. Corey Brown with me to look back on what was a fabulous day one of the championships and to throw forward to what's going to be an exciting day two of the championships. Corey, so many highlights last Saturday at Randwick, but it was great to see Bjorn Baker and Jason Collett get the job done in the Doncaster Mile.
Absolute super day of racing. I thought Golden Slipper Day was great, obviously the 5 Group 1s, but there on the weekend was just terrific racing.
It was. A lot of competitive racing, but we saw a couple of very, very special winners as well. The first of them was in the Chairman's Quality. Corey, how good was Alalcantz?
How are they going to beat her in the Sydney Cup, Ray? I don't think they can. Like, I know she's obviously very, very short odds. Terrific ride there by Timmy Clark, because as we know, she can be a fraction slow away at the start, but he was, well, I would say box seat until around about the 1800, and then the moment Craig Williams crossed on the leader, he popped off the fence. And then once he strolled to the front, it was all over.
She just keeps going.
It was all over, honestly. Like, she sustained like an 800-metre run, and she's as tough on the line as what she is at the 800. She's going to be very, very hard to beat in the Sydney Cup.
Carried 56.5 in the Chairman's, Corey. Drops to 52, and Tim Clark's going to ride her at that weight, so she will be hard to beat. Aaron Bullock, I know you've got a big rap on. Had to ride Know Thyself a half over at 56.5, but it was worth it. Runs down Listomania in the final stride of a thrilling country championship.
A deserved win mainly for Aaron Bullock. You know, like, he's been a great jockey over the last 3 or 4 years. He rides winner after winner in the country, but to come to the city and waste as hard as he did, because normally he never rides below 58, 59, and to get down to the 56.5 was a great achievement, and to actually win the race, I was wrapped for him.
If that man was 5 kilos lighter, he'd be top 10 in Sydney, wouldn't he?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Without a doubt.
Here's the Sires, and for the first time since 1981, the VRC Sires winner, Vinrock, comes up to Sydney, wins the ATC Inglis Sires, emulates full-on aces more than 40 years ago. Good, tough colt.
Great, tough win. Probably on the wrong part of the track as well. There's some really nice runs in the race. But yeah, taking nothing away from the winner, I thought it was a solid win. He box-seated and went up the wrong part of the track because he had no other options, but just strong through the line.
Rivellino again, though.
He actually raced upside down a little bit. I'm not saying Huey took him out of his comfort zone, but he actually got a little bit aggressive in the run.
Here's the TJ Smith Stakes, and Overpass is leading, but the new grey flash is in town. His name, Briasa, Corey.
Yeah, I think he's a really, really nice horse. He's given a great ride there by Tyler on the weekend. Obviously, Tyler, last time out, drew a bit awkward, had to go back, attack the line solid, but there on the weekend, he posied him up. Terrific ride, and I think this horse has got a big career in front of him. So
lightly raced with Team Hawkes. I'll give him every chance. We might see him in the All-Age Stakes on April 19, but he's Everest bound for sure, isn't he, Corey?
For sure. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and listen to the phone calls, the to and thro going on at the moment.
Negotiations, Here's the Doncaster Mile. What a finish this was. The first 11 over the line, Corey. A length and a half separated them, but the man you call the sniper, Jason Collett, got it just right on Stefi Magnetica.
He's an absolute legend. I love the way that he rides. He's got great hands. He's got great balance. His timing's unbelievable. He posied up there on Stefi Magnetica, and we'll talk to Bjorn Baker obviously later, but she didn't look anything in the yard. You would have put her on the bottom in the yard, but obviously she's terrific third up, and her turn of foot when she's ridden like that with a bit of a smother, she's got a massive finish on her. It wasn't run to suit a lot of runners there on the weekend. They slowed up mid-race noticeably, but yeah, she was just too good for them.
Royal Patronage, very brave in defeat, 3 wide throughout. MCAP, an amazing run to finish third. Here's the Derby, talk about amazing. Aliana just absolutely destroys the Colts and Geldings, wins by more than 5, would have won by 10 another 100 metres, Corey.
She was apparently suspect at the trip.
Well, not anymore.
Mate, not anymore, and honestly, the way that she lengthened and attacked the line, Ray, she's a superstar filly.
Is she a Cups horse or is she a Cox Plate horse? What do you think?
Mate,
I don't know.
Well, she'd be definitely a Cox Plate horse, but she could go on. Look, I hate sort of putting a a tick on him,
Yeah.
but she has got sort of superstar written all over, I
She's
think.
in the right stable with Chris Wilde to maximise that potential. Well, here's the Dubai Turf. James McDonald missed day one of the championships to ride Romantic Warrior, the hot favourite. Another heartbreaking defeat.
Yeah.
Last stride lost to Soul Rush.
Ray, when I watched the replay on Sunday morning, I thought, the horse, the winner had won by a good nose. But then when they showed the photo, it was so close. Yeah. It was, heartbreaking, but still tough.
He's been a great horse. Corey, I just wanted to show you a barrier trial from this morning because Broadsiding will see him in the All-Age Stakes on April 19. That's Felix Majestic, who's very fast out in front. Now, Broadsiding, James McDonald back in Sydney, riding him this morning, finishes fourth. Nice little pipe opener ahead of the All-Age.
Just a tick over trial. And the body language on James McDonald, you can just see that he's full of running. Not that he would have beat the winner, and there's no need to beat the winner, but you could just see it was a really good tick over trial.
Well, Corey, no doubt the star of the day last Saturday was Stefi Magnetica's tremendous win in the Doncaster Mile, a career best moment for trainer Bjorn Baker, and he joins us on This Week, Next Week. Bjorn, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a big thrill, obviously winning one of Sydney's main races, the Doncaster. Very special for myself, my team, family, the connections of Stefi Magnetica and Jason Collett. So I think he's a little bit like me. We both needed a big one during the championships, and that was the race we wanted.
Bjorn, I'm gonna touch straight on Stefi Magnetica. Like, obviously she's been around for a while, but has she? I'm not going to call her the ugly duckling, but in the enclosure there on the weekend, she was probably. She was the ugliest.
Not the best looking horse.
She was the ugliest in the enclosure, and I don't want to be rude to her, but is she always like that, or is it just this preparation that she hasn't come around as far as Kate Wise goes?
Yeah, I guess it's something that I pride myself on, and my team, that we like to produce our horses on race day looking great with a great coat. But she's always been a bit wishy-washy in the coat, but particularly this preparation, she does not look her best. We've done everything you can possibly do to try and clean it up and get her looking good, but that's just her. A lot of the other key factors that we look at, thankfully she's done that well. Her work's been good, she's been eating, and I think condition-wise she's actually holding pretty well, but her coat is just not great. She's not over big, and she's a little bit of a smallish buzzball.
If I didn't know better, if I didn't know better, I'd be thinking that you were trying to get a price about her, and you weren't brushing her. You didn't have a curry comb to her. You were just trying to get more odds about her.
Oh, I wish that was the case. I didn't back her on Saturday. It meant too much. I didn't want to stop her. So she ended up being really good X-ray odds, and often she does pick third up as opposed to second up. So I thought last time she was okay only, but I was hopeful that she will produce her best this preparation on Saturday, and as it was, it worked out that way.
I was going to ask you, Bjorn, were you worried about her two lead-up runs going into the Doncaster? Were you worried you had her at her best?
Yeah, definitely. I thought first up she had excuses. She was caught deep, but I thought last time out in the George Rider, she only got beaten a length and a half, but I thought she was produced at the right time to probably go a little bit better. So from that point of view, I was confident that we could probably get a length or two out of her, but I knew we'd need all of that and would need a good gate. And thankfully, the race worked out well. It was a great ride by Jason, and drawing gate 5 was the key.
Yeah, definitely. First up, Bjorn, obviously the saddle slipped or something with Zach, and he obviously circled the field and didn't have a lot of luck, but I still thought she ran really, really well. But there on the weekend, I thought it was the ride that actually won the race.
Yeah.
Like, Jay Collett, he's an absolute freak. He loves just sitting back and not even being sighted in the race, and then he snipes late, but he's a great rider. Like I said, I just think the ride there won the race on the weekend.
Yeah, he's a great guy too, Jason. Of course, I've had a lot of wins with him, and I guess we've won some pretty handy races. We won a sprint race at the Magic Millions, but this is definitely another level for both of us. And he's a lovely, smooth rider. In terms of riding track work, you've never seen a smoother rider that can just ride times, and really he's born on the back of a horse.
I think that was win number 112 for you, Bjorn, that Jason has done. I think the most successful jockey you've had for your stable. About this point of the race, what were you thinking? Because the tempo went off a little, but at least he had Stefi Magnetica in a forward position and ready to strike.
Yeah, and she has got a good turn of foot, so I thought she was in the right place, and I thought just the track, maybe it was off the inside a touch. But in a race like the Doncaster, you don't want to be covering too much ground either, so I thought he had a good opportunity to angle into the clear, and I thought she'd probably had soft enough run to finish off if she can produce her best, and as it was, it worked out beautiful. This is the first time I've seen this overhead footage, so it was very nice to watch.
How did she pull up, and where do you go with her next?
She pulled up great. She's full of beans this morning, and we're definitely going to accept for the Queen of the Turf on Saturday.
Yep.
And she has raced on the back up before after the Golden Eagle last year, where she was really unlucky. So in a way, the Doncaster's a little bit of payback, probably more so in terms of prestige. But we'll definitely go to the Queen of the Turf, all going well. The backup option is the all-age stakes, and you've got to say what a funny game racing is. 2 weeks ago, Jason and I and Team Derby, we had within the law together in the Golden Slip, and I thought she was a pretty good chance, and it didn't work out. As we know, that day she went through the fence, and thankfully she's A-OK, but I'm back with Jason 2 weeks later winning the Doncaster. So, yeah, it's a funny game.
It is an amazing game racing. What about Stefi Magnetica, Bjorn? I was out at your stables earlier this year, and you admitted to me then that you weren't her favourite trainer. She had a lot of very friendly stable staff who adore the mare, and she adores them, but you weren't number one on her hit parade, so to speak. What's the relationship like now?
Well, she's my favourite. I think she's warmed up to me slowly but surely, but she definitely has her own attitude. She likes her own space. And she's tough. And so when she got into a bit of a battle between the horses, I thought if anything's going to switch her on, that could do. And as it was, it worked out that way. She really digs into the fight.
Bjorn, is she... I don't want to be rude.
Nah. Where are you going with this?
No. I'll wind back a little bit. But no, mate, I was so rapt for you and Jason there on the weekend. Like I said, I love Jason as a rider. You've been having an unbelievable run. Like, what do you put it down to?
A number of different things. I think the first and foremost is better quality horses. I've got a real loyal clientele base. A lot of my clients have been there for the 14 years I've been in Sydney. Scott Darby and the team at Derby Racing have picked up a number of good recent acquisitions, and they've worked out very well. And Jim Clark's buying great horses. We're back here at Easter trying to source the next ones, and I'm confident we buy good value and get the results. As well as that, I've got better staff. I've got a great team around me. I've invested a lot in infrastructure in stables at Warwick Farm in the past 2 years. I think that's really paying dividends. Some of the airflow and lighting management we're doing from that point of view is definitely putting science at the fore. And I think in terms of the overall horse health, I think we're doing some pretty exciting things. It's definitely paying off. So there's so many bits and pieces that really do add up, and then I guess we're having a lot of luck. We're getting our tactics right as well, and Corey, you know as well as anyone, Sydney can sometimes be like a little bit of a game of poker with some of the tight tracks.
Yeah.
And it's about getting your tactics right.
Yeah, well, you're doing that well. It's been a fantastic season. Bjorn, we're used to seeing you celebrate a win post-race, whether it's a maiden or a Group 1, and we love that about you. But we saw a very different side of Bjorn Baker on Saturday, and I don't want to embarrass you, but you got quite emotional after winning the Doncaster with Stefi Magnetica. Why did it mean so much to you?
Oh, I guess it's one of those iconic Sydney races, and it's been a very special day for my family as well. My father, of course, he won 5 derbies, and Doncaster Derby Day, and to put a Doncaster alongside that, I'm sure he would have been the proudest man in New Zealand. And no, so it's very, very happy, and you're mindful. You want to be competing in one of the iconic races in Sydney. I'm in Sydney now. It's my home, my family's home, and to win the Doncaster, it's a buttoned-on Sydney race with a lot of prestige and history, and those are the sort of races when came over here 14 years ago, you dreamed of having a runner, let alone winning it. So from so many different ways, it really did mean so much. The greatest racecourse in the world.
What was the phone call like with your mum and dad on the Saturday night?
Oh, I think Murray still probably would have criticised a couple of tactics in the previous races. He keeps it real, but no, they're very, very happy, and they're very, very, very pleased. And of course, he's been retired now for a couple of years, and he misses Australian racing. He loves Australian racing more than anyone, and my whole childhood and his whole ethos was just trying to find the next good horse, good enough to bring to Australia, whether it be Sydney in the autumn or Melbourne in the spring. He's desperate to find something, anything, and he loves Australia, I think, more than I do, which is very hard to beat.
Fair enough, yeah. Bjorn, it was a great day regardless, but overpassed so close in the TJ Smith Stakes for you and the Scott Derby syndications, but terrific run given he's on the way to Perth very shortly for an attempt at a third consecutive the Quokka. You must have been happy with his performance.
Yeah, he is a trainer, Sydney, or trainer anywhere. Having a horse like this, he's done it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5. He's 6 now. Seems like he's 16. He's been around for so long, and he just always produces. He's so consistent. He always produces a great run, and he got beaten by a big one on Saturday, but in some ways I think he deserves a big one at Randwick. He's been up against the best for a lot of his career, and he broke through the $10 million barrier mark, and he's just been, it's not even about the money, it's just about being able to put, I guess, Derby racing and me up at lights pretty much every autumn, every spring for the last 4 years. He's been a very, very special horse, and I think he can go to the Quokka and be very, very competitive again. He's a bit of a star over in Perth, but he's such a special horse. I say he might not quite be a champion, but he's Derby and my champion. He's been so good to us.
And Bjorn, he's sort of like the forgotten horse all the time. Like he's one of those horses, he's always thereabouts, but he's like a forgotten horse. He's never really spoken about or anything like that, but he always runs great. What about the pressure of training him? Is he a pressure horse, or is he just one of those horses that goes about his business?
Well, he's funny because he's never been a remarkable track worker. He's never said, I'm one of the leading sprinters in the country, but he just does his work. He's been a remarkably sound horse. He is just, we trotted him up this morning. It's like he hasn't gone around. And from that point of view, we've really got, I guess I've learned a lot with him as well. He's made me a better trainer about being patient, having him ready first up, and very much we just copy what I did in the spring and autumn for the last 2 or 3 years. So it makes me look smart for sure, but it's just a matter of getting him fit enough to perform first up. And he's been a great horse. He taught me a lot about patience and about trying to aim for these races in particular. And the big difference this year was 3 weeks between the TJ and Quokka, whereas the past 2 years it's only been 2 weeks.
And what about Arapaho, Bjorn? Will we see him this weekend? You've nominated him for the Sydney Cup and the Queensland Stakes. What are you thinking? Which race will Arapaho run in?
Yeah, he's been another stable stalwart. He was very good in the tank. He just didn't quite work out as well as hoped, but he will go to the Sydney Cup. He ran 4th in the Sydney Cup 2 years ago. I think he's a bit bigger, a bit stronger. He might need to be a little bit better, though, because he's got to carry 3 kilos more. But we'll be able to give him a really good gallop tomorrow. And I think the key is if he can draw a gate and maybe ridden a little bit softer, he's a chance to get a strong 2 miles. And it's a tough race, but I think he deserves a shot.
Yeah, he's been a great horse, as you said, to the stable for many years. You mentioned Within the Law earlier, Bjorn, we saw what happened to her in the Golden Slipper. Fortunately, she's come through that relatively unscathed. Do we see her in the Percy Sykes on Saturday?
Yep, she'll definitely be there, and she trialled last Friday at Rosehill, and I thought she was excellent. She was smooth throughout. She jumped, she travelled on the fence, and she ran a lovely second with no pressure. She's one of my favourites because she is just the most laid-back filly. She doesn't do anything in track work. She's got a little bit of a woolly coat too, I must say, so hopefully we're not worrying about much after Stefi but I think she can go there and run a big race. And if it draws a gate, she can be a lot closer. A lot of the times we've drawn wide the last 2 or 3 starts, we've had to go right back. But I think the 1200's ideal for her, and if she can just sit a bit closer, she'll be right in the finish.
Oh, another strong team for day 2 of the championships. Congratulations with the results on day 1 of the championships, particularly the Doncaster Mile win with Stefi Magnetica. And thanks so much, Bjorn, for joining us on This Week Next Week.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
There's Bjorn Baker, and as you mentioned, Corey, he's had just an extraordinary breakout season. He's second in the premiership, and that major, that big one, was what he coveted the most, and he's got it now, the Doncaster.
And it's great, like, not only for him but Jason Collett as well. You know, like he said, they needed that. But the run that he's been having is just unbelievable. Some of the horses, like, they've gone from sort of like zero to hero. But it's just
and they maintained form over extended periods. It's fantastic to watch.
Performance.
Well, this Saturday, day 2 of the championships, the feature race is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Let's look back 12 months ago to the unforgettable win of Pride of Jenny.
This is unbelievable. Pride of Jenny about 30 lengths in front in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. She keeps going, coming up the rise. At the moment, Mr. Brightside is being challenged by Kovalika, and then came Buckaroo, Via Sistina. She's winding up, she's getting to second, but Pride of Jenny at the 200. My goodness, 15 in front. Declan Bates goes to the whip, riding a ride out. There's no need. This is a demolition job. Pride of Jenny in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. My oh my. Via Sistina second. And it's Unicorn Lion, 2 lengths clear. Anamo's cutting loose. Debayona's cutting loose. This is what we've been waiting for. Unicorn Lion being grabbed by Debayona, and Anamo in the middle. It's Debayona hitting the lead from Anamo. They beat off Unicorn Lion, but Debayona is drawing clear, and William Haggis has done it again. Debayona by 3 lengths to Anamo.
That was Debayona winning the 2023 Queen Elizabeth Stakes. We'll see him again this weekend in what's going to be a fantastic race on day 2 of the championships. And Tab's Tim Ryan is here to give us all the latest betting. He's some horse, Debayona. How's he come up against the champ Via Sistina, Tim?
Yeah, good evening, Ray. Debayona, he's not that popular, would you believe it? Via Sistina, best backed runner all weekend, and she's very, very short. $1.70 in the Queen Elizabeth. She's over 80% of the total hold on the race. Debayona, a $5 chance. Kale Wolf, I haven't written a bet for him since his last start win. He's out to $9. And Buckaroo's seen a little bit of interest. He's a $15 chance. The Sydney Cup, well, it's not often I agree with Corey, but I do hear how they're going to beat her. Al Kent, she's a $2.50 chance. That's in from $4.50 on Saturday before the race. Zardozi saw a bit of support last week. She's an $8 chance. Circle of Fire, the best backed outside of those top 2 there. He saw a bit of support after the Tancred at $11. Treasure of the Moment, she's super popular as well. 70% of the total hold. She's $1.70. Doesn't look like we'll see Aliana on Saturday. She'd nearly run favourite as she run, but she sits there as doubtful, $4.50. Like a Lucy, likely to take up the baton for the Waller camp there. A $6 chance for the New Zealand Oaks winner there. Fangirl's very short in the Queen of the Turf. She's a $2.30 chance and a firm this morning. Also money around for a Tissue. She's 6 into $4.50 today. Stefi Magnetica, good news. She'll back up there on Saturday in the Queen of the Turf. The Provincial Midway Championships wide open. Machelade looks well placed. Was a good winner last time out. He's a $4.50 chance. Best backed. Welcome to Barbados. Good story around it. It is an $8 chance in the Provincial Midway Championships final. And Tab Everest news, a firm on Saturday for Briasa. He's $11 into 6. He finds the same line there as Private Harry, who beat him in the Galaxy.
Yeah, the Everest already creating a lot of interest with Ka Ying rising the 250 favourite. Which horse are you taking on this weekend, Tim?
Yeah, there's a lot of options, a lot of shorties on Saturday. Could be a feast or a famine for punters and bookies. I've had a go at laying most of them, but this week I'm going to take on Via Sistina. I think she's under the odds. I think Debayona, he's overs. He's 3 for 3 in Australia, and he can give her a shake.
It's going to be a great race, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, this Saturday at Royal Randwick. But leading up to Royal Randwick, we've got plenty of racing during the week. On Tuesday in New South Wales, we're racing at Ballina and at Goulburn. Come Wednesday, we're at Hawkesbury. Then on Thursday, we're racing at Gosford. Come Friday, we're Then racing at Orange and Port Macquarie. And Saturday, of course, day 2 of the championships, Corey, back to Royal Randwick. Great crowd last Saturday. Should be even a bigger crowd this weekend. Newcastle is the provincial meeting. And on Sunday, we're at Grafton and Wagga. Gee, Corey, there's so many highlights for this weekend's racing, but which horse are you most looking forward to seeing?
I'm not sure if it was an uppercut or a little left hook there from Timmy, but yeah, no, I'm taking on Via Sistina. Mate, I think she's a superstar. The only way they can beat her is if they go slow and it's a sprint home. I think that's the only way to beat her. But if there's any sort of normal tempo, I think she'll be too good.
Should ask Tim this. Will we get better than $1.70 on the day?
Oh, mate, Timmy's... he's
got to let us on, hasn't he?
He'll put himself on the line, don't worry.
Okay, I hope he lets us on. For me in the Sydney Cup, I agree with Corey. I can't see how Alicante can get beaten at the weights. Drops to 52 kilos, and she was so good in the chairman's quality. But all that and so much more to look forward to this Saturday on day 2 of the championships. On behalf of Corey Brown and I, thanks for joining us on This Week, Next Week, and we'll see you next Monday.